Okay, Ruby LFC1. Can anything help inherited dark circles under eyes?
That genetic tendency typically is, because it occurs in younger people too, is a pigmentation story, okay? Because younger people, as we said, you know, it's not because their skin is thin, it's because their skin is hyperpigmented. So here are the things I like to think about. Number one is I like the ingredient kojic acid. I think it's a very good ingredient. I think vitamin C is also a very good means by which you can stop the overproduction of the melanin in those individuals. I recommend that. Lots of times people have allergies, and the allergic type of individual has, and that sometimes that's what runs in families. And there are people who have allergies who then get the dark circles, maybe because they rub their eyes a lot, or because it just happens that there is a connection between allergy, hay fever, sinus conditions, and the overproduction of pigmentation. If a person has an allergy, if a person is that type, then just taking antihistamines to treat the allergies can very often improve the dark under eye circles. And if that is something that rings true for certain people, that they have allergies and that they're going to take antihistamines, the mistake they make that you should be careful with, don't take an antihistamine only when you have the allergic symptoms.
Right.
Okay, you want that in your bloodstream so that when you are exposed to the allergen, your body has the antihistamines already there to prevent the histamine release that's causing these symptoms. So you might want to take it if it's springtime and it's a bad time of year. Take it daily for a month.
Okay. So JCT, how should I change my skincare routine now I am pregnant?
Okay. First things to do is consult your obstetrician and be aware of the fact that maybe here you should certainly nothing oral, right? I don't know if they're taking an antibiotic or et cetera, definitely not do that.
British women don't have obstetricians, I should just point out.
Okay.
In Britain, you only see an obstetrician if something goes wrong.
Okay.
So you would see your GP.
So when in doubt, ask your GP.
Okay.
Okay, that's the best thing to do. Here, I think that most of the ingredients that are used, retinol is the one question mark.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a vitamin A derivative. Certainly, things like Retin A and even over-the-counter Differin here in this country. It's something that probably is fine, but the word probably is not enough for me to say, in good faith, I can say to you, go ahead and use it, okay? The question is, if you absorb it through your bloodstream, right, through the skin into your bloodstream, and it gets into the circulation of the baby, it can do some damage. The likelihood is super low.
Sure.
It's super low. But is it proven? Not really. And what about the comfort level? Why have anxiety for the sake of vanity?
Sure.
I don't believe in that.
Sure.
So I'm I'm skittish about recommending retinol or over-the-counter things like Differin here in this country if you're pregnant. On the other side of the coin, if you're pregnant, definitely up the sunscreen. Your SPF has to be really high because you're at risk for melasma. And I think that you can start to anticipate certain things you're at risk for, and that's a big one.
So let's just assume for a moment that Ruby LFC, because she's asking you a question, because she is engaged with Instagram accounts regarding beauty, let's just assume that she's really engaged with skincare, okay? I think that the problem is that when you become pregnant, everybody assumes that you're marketed aggressively at kind of, you know, lovely
natural
oils
right.
and natural and stuff.
Right.
Let's just assume that this lady is engaged with skincare and wants really effective products. And so if we're taking retinol out for all the reasons you just wisely described, what are we suggesting to keep that level of activity happening? Vitamin C?
Vitamin C.
Okay.
Absolutely perfect example. Can't do better. It's a naturally derived antioxidant, fantastic idea. It also helps prevent melasma. I love it. Hyaluronic acid, a bioidentical ingredient that's in the skin, can do no harm. Love that. Peels are great, alpha and beta hydroxy acids.
So there's no reason to stop peeling?
No, no. Fruit acids derived from citrus, lactic acid, glycolic acid from sugars, naturally derived products like ingredients like that. Willow bark extract is a great source of salicylic acid, natural ingredient. So also all safe for pregnancy.
So she can still pull out the big guns. We're only a little bit iffy about retinol.
That's the one thing, yes.
Okay. Wonder Wands. Does layering products in a specific order actually work, make a difference? This is so critical. So my most watched video ever was on the layering of products and the order they come in. Yeah. What do you think absolutely has to be next to the skin?
The lightest product you use.
Okay.
Layering is real. It definitely is. It does make a big difference. You always apply your products from lightest to heaviest in their consistency. So something that's a fluid that gets into the skin right away is the first thing you do. Then you might want to put on a serum, which is a gel, or a little bit lightweight. And then you want to put on a moisturizer after that, okay? The reason for that is because the reverse is also not true. In other words, if you put something on heavy first, then something lightweight is going to find it as a barrier to entrance. So lightest to heaviest. It's a very important thing to know.
And so the ingredients are not your issue here of layering, it's just texture?
Texture, weight of the product.
So there's no counter advice for ingredients? No.
It's all about the vehicle, the weight of the product.
Okay, love that. April 5878, how do you shop for the right cosmetic derm? We are used to seeing dermatologists quoted in magazines and so on, but just a regular woman who wants to see someone, where do you begin?
And she has cosmetic concerns, and she's going to a dermatologist for that. Okay. The key thing is to listen to the questions you're being asked, okay?
Okay, I like this. So what ideally do you want to be asked? You
want to be asked a couple things. I always ask, well, what bothers you most, first and foremost, okay? And you because people have different issues, but you want to tackle the number one, top two, maybe three things, and there's different ways to go. And so you have to make sure that the doctor is trying to extract from you what is your most troublesome thing, okay? The next thing is then when you're listening to what's being recommended, the dermatologist is absolutely divulging his or her own opinion and values, okay? Are they in line with yours? For example, if the doctor is immediately recommending aggressive treatment, a laser that's going to cause redness and burning and cause you to stay inside for 2 weeks with a lot of downtime, and you're someone who wants a more gentle approach, then that's a mistake, okay? The flip side's also true, that if you're being told, but maybe that's what you want. So just make sure that what you're being recommended in terms of the potency and the aggressiveness sits well by you, okay? Because I don't like anxiety when someone's in pursuit of a cosmetic improvement, okay? So that's the second thing. I also think that it's also very important to hear their doctor's opinion about what they recommend and why. Here, I love to always recommend going for what I call the low-lying fruit. In other words, if I see somebody just wants to have a younger appearance, wants to look just refreshed and is asking me for an opinion on what they can do, I want to tell them the easiest, safest, most effective, number one thing they can do that is a virtual guarantee to make them look better. And this is the reason I call it the low-lying fruit, because there are certain things. It could be pores, it could be a little bit of redness, it could just be a little firming, it could be helping their dullness, it could be clearing up their complexion, it could be working on their crow's feet. It's just what is the single best thing they can do. So those are the best top three answers I can give to that person.
Is your job sometimes, do you think, saying no? Do you find yourself saying no?
All the time.
Yeah.
Saying no is as important as saying yes.
I think that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Doctors who never say no, I think, is a bad thing. Oh my God, I have to ask this because this is one of the most popular social media trends, and I am desperate to get a doctor to talk about it. Should you shave your face? Let me give you some background because this sounds bonkers, as we say in Britain, to lots of people. So lots of makeup artists and bloggers advocate the shaving of the face to give a smooth skin for makeup, a smooth feeling, tactile skin. They're recommending this. I have very strong feelings about it, and I would like some medical backup, please, Dr. Dennis Gross.
Okay. Essentially, what you're doing is you're stimulating cell turnover. Okay. What you're really doing is a mechanical exfoliation.
Yeah.
Okay. And because whenever you remove the top layer of skin, doesn't matter by what means, it could be a peel, it could be a laser, it could be a razor. What you're doing is you're stimulating the cells below it to rise up and replace that removal. Okay. So I guess my answer to that is a little unconventional to use a metallic device and shave and use that. And I don't favor it, frankly. I don't love that because A, it lends itself to abuse, and to use a surgical procedure essentially to try to exfoliate, I think can be misguided, and I think it's easily overdone. And I think there are better ways to do it.
Yeah. Such as
peels.
Yeah.
I think gentle peels, in other words, peels that you can use at home that do not cause redness and downtime, are a great way to exfoliate, more so than scrubs. We talked about this. They detach the skin and they do a world of other good things to the skin. But the number one thing that this person's accomplishing by shaving is exfoliation.
Yeah, but it's exfoliation that then has another strain of maintenance attached to it. I just don't need another thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't need to shave. I don't need
it.
another step.
The other question that comes up is, could a person with facial hair actually, could the hair come back stronger by shaving? And the answer is yes. You see? So it's not, so that person, once they start to shave, they're addicted, because sometimes the hairs come back coarser and they start to grow a little bit more aggressively and more vehemently. So you want to not necessarily do that if you have any facial hair at all.
Yeah, also pluck out a chin hair, you'll get 20 come to the funeral. Tina Lee in Berlin on Instagram, dry, wrinkly lips since forever, addicted to literally every lip gloss or balm, but what actually helps? Is her answer in the question?
Okay, so the question is, why is she getting this chronic problem, and could she be doing some harm? First thing is that there are certain people whose lips get dried because they have certain reactions to ingredients that could be in some products. The number one cause of that is camphor.
Yes.
Okay. Beware of camphor as an ingredient that can actually aggravate dryness and make your lips addicted to certain products.
So this is like your classic inexpensive lip balm that smells slightly mentholated.
Correct.
It's that ingredient.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And things that are minty are not great either. They have minty ingredients actually are all cinnamon derivatives. So lots of times people like this see chronically dry lips, chronically wrinkled lips, because they're exposed to ingredients that are actually drying their lips.
Are you telling me cinnamon's bad for my skin? I love cinnamon so much.
I think cinnamon it can actually aggravate some people's skin conditions. Maybe not you, but maybe her.
Damn it. Deanna_Selby, I'd love to know about ways to hide deep lines from nose to the edge of the mouth, please. So we're talking about this.
Hide? Well, the only thing to do, look, there's certain, anytime you build collagen, you are going to improve lines and grooves in the skin. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about a fine line, a deeper wrinkle, laxity, sagging, jowls, neck, face, eyelids. It's all about collagen. So all the collagen producing products and ingredients, I highly recommend this person use. Depending on the severity and their expectation, though, they may benefit from fillers.
Right. So this is what I was going to ask you. I like this answer from you because there are limits to everything, right? Mm-hmm. So there's only so much a topical product is going to be able to do before you're thinking, okay, this is the best it's going to get.
Right.
And then you can move on to injectables if that's what you want.
Exactly right. That's how it works. And I also, nonetheless, always recommend people, look, no aging issue gets better with time, right? It all gets worse. So I really recommend that they use good skincare products, ones that we know help firm the skin. because even if it does not get them good enough, it's certainly going to help prevent them from getting worse, which is a reality.
At @blue_lily on Instagram, what 3 tips would you give to someone in their 30s to help with the aging process and get the best out of their skin? So 3 things someone can do tomorrow.
3 things they can do.
That will help everyone.
Right. I think you should be thinking, well, I'll give you a couple answers, a couple of triads. First of all, peels, serums, and sunscreen. Okay? I think you can't go wrong with that. Another thing I think in your 30s, another way to look at it is an eye product, a face product, and a neck product. Okay?
Why is it important to use to have a different eye from a face product? So I am somebody who gets sent absolutely everything. I have access to all skincare products. I'm very, very fortunate. I don't use an eye cream because my skin is so dry that I find that they're too light, and I don't get puffy from using an all-over face moisturizer around my eyes. I don't get that puffiness, so I don't bother using a different.
I'm not referring to moisturizers. I'm talking about...
And serums too. So I use, whatever I use on my face goes around my eyes because they seem to tolerate it.
That's exactly that. For you, it tolerates it. I think that when I formulate products, you got to think that you're treating a bell-shaped curve of people out there, okay? So you're somebody who can do that, but there are many people who you have to be very careful with certain concentrations, certain delivery systems, certain ingredients, yay or nay to. And you're also thinking about not only skin types, but you're also thinking about the same person in different times of year, colder weather. So I'm a big believer that dedicated eye creams are a safer bet. And not everyone has the tolerance that you do.
So this is what I have always, I'm relieved to hear you say this, because this is what I've always written in my books and my columns. I have always said, I completely understand why you might need a separate eye product because your face products are too much, or they make you puffy, or you can't tolerate them around your eyes.
Right.
But if you can, that's perfectly fine.
It is okay.
This is what I've always said, and
No
people
doubt.
disagree. Okay. You're talking about the eye product, and you're also saying serums, and you're also saying peels, and you're saying sunblock.
Right.
Break that down, because I feel that lots of women don't really understand why they need a serum.
A serum is something that is a product that does nothing more than deliver the active ingredient, okay? It's potent. So serums, for example, don't moisturize necessarily, right? They're not designed, you might use a vitamin C serum that is going to be designed to keep the vitamin C stable and deliver it into the skin quickly. Or retinol serum. So they're nothing more than designed vehicles to penetrate the skin, right? Which is why a serum is not necessarily a moisturizer.
Yes.
But then, and it's also why moisturizers themselves, in truth, are not anti-aging ingredients, because moisturizers don't stimulate collagen, for example. So serums are pure anti-aging ingredients. Products
that are more readily accepted into the skin.
that are more readily delivered to the skin.
Okay.
Exactly. So I like them so the person, she asked the question, she's in her 30s, certainly in your 40s, what should you be thinking about doing? You want potent delivery of these powerful ingredients. So I think that moisturizers that also contain certain ingredients that sound like, that can help the skin look younger, they're great, but the powerful thing to do is use a serum.
You also mentioned neck creams. Why are you looking at a dedicated product for that area?
Very complicated, but here's the bottom line. The neck is also different than the rest of the face, much like the eyes are.
Okay.
The skin of the neck is natively thinner than, if you pinch your skin here and you pinch your cheek, you can feel it's different. And I'm not talking about because you have fat there. I'm talking about just get the skin off the fat, you can feel it's thinner. The dilemma of neck products, of a neck serum, is that collagen stimulation occurs in the cells that live in the dermis of the skin. If your skin is thinner, that tells you immediately you have a reduction, a diminished number of those cells in thin skin. So a delivery system for the neck has to be designed to not go too deep.
Okay.
And just stop at that layer where the thin skinned fibroblast cells that produce collagen exist. So it's and this has been probably one of the greatest challenges in my career, is to develop a neck product. And I have one. It took me years to develop the delivery system that brings the ingredients I want to the skin and doesn't fall short of not going deep enough, but certainly doesn't go too deep and gets it right into the target, which is a thinned dermis, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The other product you mentioned, which surely has to be everyone's desert island product from a health and a beauty point of view, is sunscreen.
Yeah.
Is there a minimum SPF factor that you would absolutely not go below?
I think 20, 25 minimum. I really do. The higher the better, but it doesn't mean that, an SPF 50 versus a SPF 100 gives you twice as much sun protection.
Yeah.
It's it's diminishing returns after a certain point. But I think that it's important I like SPF 25, I like 30. I think that's where I set my standards.
And you like a broad spectrum?
I do. UVA and UVB protection.
Okay. So just to recap, because that was really solid advice. So she wanted, what does she actually need to keep her skin looking the best in her 30s? So we said if she wants to look at it from an eye product, a facial product, and a neck product, or I said a peel, a serum, and sunscreen. Right. The domestic tech, who's a regular of mine on Instagram, she's a nice lady, 40 plus skin. Is a regular facial essential skincare?
Is a regular facial essential skincare? Wow. Well, here's the thing. I love facials. I think they're great. I love them because I think they make the skin radiant. I think they're great for extraction. They're great for pore size. And I think that they're absolutely safe and people relax and takes away tension from their face. They emerge looking rejuvenated. I think it's terrific. Facials, on the other hand, don't stimulate collagen. They're not truly anti-aging, right? So I think when you say skincare, right, that's a very broad category,
Sure.
So I think that if you're looking just to ask whether in the care of my skin, does a facial help? Absolutely. Is it something that's going to make someone who's really concerned about lines and wrinkles do the trick? Are they going to need injections? Are they going to do Botox? Are they going to do laser? Of course they might. But, it's something that if it suits you, if that's what your skin, you like the way your skin looks after a facial, I highly recommend them.
I mean, facial's an extremely broad church in itself, because you can have a facial involving peels and extractions, or you can have a calming, relaxing, soothing facial, which is a very different
Right.
animal.
To facials.
The dog does not like a facial.
Okay.
Username soft as a panda on Instagram. Is there much to be done about crepey and hooded eyelids? So clearly two different issues,
Yes.
but nonetheless. Crepey and hooded eyelids. I'm 26 and mine are already annoying me when I try to put on any eye makeup.
Right.
I can't imagine they'll get anything except worse. So these are two issues. One is the shape of your eye, right? And the other is that it sounds as though she has some fine lines and so on.
And texture. I actually worked on this and created a product.
Okay.
It's the Retinol and Freulich eye serum. It's like a gel that you can put on, and then it actually is approved to use on crepey skin of the eyelids.
Okay.
And you can put it on, you can layer over products, makeup, moisturizer, everything, and it does help that problem. So crepiness of the eyelids, actually a bigger problem than I thought initially, and that's why I developed that product. But you can do something about it, and the breakthrough was making retinol gentle enough to use around the eyes.
And is it also the case with crepiness that when it's that sort of very light creping, that's a hydration issue?
It could be. Yes, it could be.
Because she's only 26. That
Right.
seems terribly young.
It could, but it could run in her family.
Yeah.
I've seen it. There are very many people who actually do have dehydrated skin of the lids and dryness, and that's actually why I developed my new product, the Do It All Eye Gel, which is rich in hyaluronic acid, so that it's a way to actually hydrate the skin and is a way to not necessarily introduce these thicker, heavy oils that are not so becoming on the eyelid skin.
And I guess especially if you have genetically kind of hooded eyelids, any puffing up is the last thing you want, because it's just going to...
Exactly.
But hooded eyelids, that's just the makeup of your face, right? More than it is skin.
Right. It's very tough.
Yeah. I just think crayons. I think crayons, like a really cool liner, works better than trying to do fancy shadow things when you've got hooded lids. Kate Ritchie 91, is a microcurrent facial a better choice than Botox?
They're very different.
Okay, please let us know why.
Well, the thing is, microcurrent, if it works at all, I'm not so sure. I don't offer it in my clinic, for example, because I'm not really a big believer. I'm not convinced. But if it does, it's a mild temporary means to help lines look better by causing a little contraction and lifting, okay? Botox is a tried and true means by which lines and wrinkles are reduced by reducing the tension and contraction of the muscles underneath the skin that are causing lines to occur. So not everyone's really interested in Botox, but not everyone who wants the results of Botox will be happy with microcurrent either.
Yeah. So are we essentially, in your opinion, talking about a little pick-me-up versus a longer, more noticeable
no question.
smoothing?
That's right, yes.
So this is Jay Barrett, what sort of acids would the doctor suggest to use before derma rolling? So here we are back at derma rolling. People love it.
I love the alpha beta hydroxy acids. You know, that's why I use them over and over again in my alpha beta peel assortment. And I think that the key thing there is what I truly love about the peel in this context is that you want to do something gentle with your acids before you subject it to any kind of roller dermaplaning. So I think that's the answer, is gentle but effective.
So would you do your peels in the morning, followed by your day serum, and then lay off them at night and do your retinol? Is that your ideal regime?
I do think that's exactly how I do it, right. We like peels in the morning. There's peels first before your serums is the most important rule. But I do love the peels in the morning because they just make the skin so beautiful and radiant.
And you have your antioxidants.
And you have your antioxidants, you have your firming ingredients, you have your radiance. Makeup just glides on, doesn't settle into the lines because the skin is so much more smooth. So it's almost a shame to waste it by using it at night. Then again, it does have long-term improvement. So as long as you use it every day, you're going to see a dramatic difference. But I like it, I prefer it in the morning, and then it should be first before your serums, and then your moisturizer, and then your makeup.
And then we're bringing out retinol at night if we're using a retinol.
That's right.
GUZBT_88, is there any harm in using coconut oil as a cleanser for the skin to remove makeup? For example, will it cause anything one doesn't want?
Well, oils are not cleansers, coconut oil or otherwise, right? They're not going to really, you need a little bit of a sudsing action, right? Of something called a surfactant to actually make water wetter. That's how cleansers work. That reduces the size of the water molecule in the droplet size to actually disperse and remove the makeup. So I don't think you're getting a deep cleaning by using coconut oil. Now, and suboptimal removal of your makeup has its issues. It can definitely enlarge your pores. It can make the skin exposed to ingredients 24 hours it's not meant to be. Also, excessive use of coconut oil can make your pores look larger and maybe even cause breakouts because coconut oil is very hard to wash off completely. So I don't recommend that.
And presumably can act as a barrier against your serums and things that you really want to get.
100%.
Okay. Or I guess you can double cleanse if you really love those oils. You can use those first and then use a wash.
That's correct.
Okay.
A cleanser of some sort should be used before or after.
Now this question is quite a serious question and it would be a shame to waste our opportunity with the doctor. The real Miss Scully on Instagram. I'm 22 years old. I have a connective tissue disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Are you familiar with this? Okay, good. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced it. The collagen in my skin is very weak and stretchy. My skin is sensitive enough, chin is very congested, and my acne scars fade very slowly, sometimes not at all. I was wondering if you could ask the dermatologist what should be avoided in skincare in cases like mine. So it sounds as though she's very well aware of her limitations and her condition. She seems well schooled in that, but she's saying what should she avoid in her case?
Right. It's a very challenging disorder, okay, and a rare one, where the individual has very stretchy skin. The skin's very elastic. And for that reason, something very fundamental is different about the skin. I will tell you that gentle rules here. And I would say things like maybe you should avoid retinol and stick more with hyaluronic acid. Vitamin C might be helpful. And also, I think here, you just have to be very scientific in the way you introduce these products to the skin. What you want to do is you want to try something, make sure that it's not too harsh and too drying, okay? And I think a very good little rule of thumb for this person is that a product is too drying. If after you wash your face and dry it, if your skin feels a little tight right then and there, it's the first tip off that your skin is headed towards dryness. Her skin is so sensitive that if we can actually prevent something from drying her out before she's dry, it will be a great service. And this is true for many people in general, with or without this Ehlers-Danlos disorder. So just use that time where we never sense our skin. We're never aware of it. But when you wash it and you dry it, you feel a little tightness, you're more aware of your skin's off balance, your skin's drying out. So I recommend for her that she just be a little more aware of that.
Yeah, I always say this to people, if you come out of the shower, could you go and make a cup of tea without product? I could never.
Right.
I could never go and have a cup of tea without product because I would be so uncomfortable.
Yeah, interesting.
I'm super dry. So gentle, lots of hyaluronic acid, maybe some vitamin C.
Yes, but even vitamin C in this individual, it's a different story. Their skin can be thrown off balance. So and start a product every other day. Work your way into it. Take the instructions and divide it by in half. If they say daily, every other day. If it says morning and night, only night.
And then maybe up the ante.
And then make sure your skin's acclimated, and then you're proceeding with caution and doing the right thing.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
And thank you so much. I actually cannot believe how huge the response was. We just had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of questions.
Wonderful.
And I really wanted to ask them all, but we've been going for such a long time and this has already turned into a two-parter. So we'll just have to come back to New York another time and ask some more. But thank you so much for such comprehensive and helpful answers. And I hope you got something out of it. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.